to 23 degrees sideways. We are, I haven't been doing this a whole lot, and so it's actually a little bit difficult to get into my flow. I've noticed, this is actually a pretty key element, and we're going to make this short video kind of about this topic. And it's that when I'm doing videos on a daily basis, or 2 or 3 times a day, I am very, very keyed into my topics. I'm very keyed into the flow, the narrative flow. Now this is kind of an odd thing because I don't have a narrative self, but the mind still exists. Like the mind is part of the body, brain, biome, environment. The mind is at least in part an outgrowth of that. You might also say that it's an outgrowth of the soul to interface with the body. I don't know which way that goes, but the mind is part of this, and the mind doesn't go away. You don't actually excise parts of your brain when you reach enlightenment. That's just not how it works. But the mind gets very, very unreactive, much less reactive, very unreactive. And you can lose sight of the mind itself in a lot of cases. Like the mind just goes completely silent. There's no, there's no sense of self. You can actually get to points, locations, where a lot of your integration with the brain is just gone, right? Because something in you, some awareness, something outside of you, some awareness, some soul, some beingness integrates with the body. And you can control this, and it can get really out there and really weird. Anyway, the mind, it still exists. So does the external to the cranium, neurology. So you have different aspects of what's going on. When you get different levels of enlightenment or transcendence, you'll have different senses of feeling. Like there's the fullness, and there's the huge universe that's full and vibrant and life, and then there's a stillness and isness and all this stuff. The thing is, without being stuck in the mind, there's a flow when I have a system, when I'm doing videos on a daily basis. There's a flow to that. There's a process and an alignment. It's an alignment in part of intention, okay? There's an intention coming from the universe, coming from the oversoul, coming from whatever's beyond this body, right? And I've got a big sense of it. I just don't have words for it, It's what I am most of the time, what I sense most of the time, how I experience most of the time. But that intention changes. Or rather, parts of the intention rise and fall, kind of like jellyfish in the ocean or a lava lamp, depending on what you're doing. And if you do videos every day, if you do meditation every day, if you go for a walk every day, these things become easier, and the intentions align, and the effects get much more pronounced. It gets much, much better, much easier to do, and it builds on itself. There's a momentum. So when I talk about things like momentum in terms of the 3 rules, do stuff, don't stop, finish something every day, I talk about don't stop being a key because you have momentum if you keep going. Momentum is not a flat line, nor is it just a linear increase or decrease of stress. It's multiplicative. It's not necessarily logarithmic. It's not necessarily going to go totally parabolic or anything, but it does multiply, and at least up to a certain point. There's the diminishing returns thing. Okay, it's kind of like the halfway there. That's actually a really good model. Halfway there. If you start a project and you get halfway, you've got a huge feeling of accomplishment. You keep going, you get the next halfway, you're 75%. So we're working on your capacity to make videos, to meditate, to line up your life in an active sense where you're doing activities, right? Boom, boom, boom. You're living life. Like it's not about the doing stuff tasks, it's about living life, your fullness, your living of life, your energy. Well, you start the process and you do a couple of these daily videos, and after a week or 2, you've got this thing where you're halfway to your performance level maximum, okay? You've gone up dramatically, and then a couple weeks later you go up another halfway. That's 75%. Then you go up another halfway. You've cut 12.5% off of what's left. you know, that, and it goes, but you're never quite there. It does get to a point where the differences are incremental and very subtle, and you know, you end up with that little roller coaster at that last 5% where you go up and down and up and down. But you're not at that beginning phase. And so there's this momentum builds. Okay, the first jump in momentum builds pretty fast. If you can make it past the pitfalls, and there are pitfalls or roadblocks or counter intentions or whatever, there's some force in the universe that tries to tell people no quite often when they start doing self-improvement. It's like someone's running a program to keep you down, and they actually probably are. Once you make it past that little first roadblock, you get this massive increase, and then it keeps going up and up and up. And it's not just that you have a little bit of momentum like you're pushing a truck on a flat. It's that you've actually started an engine or gotten stronger or limbered up, or you know, you've got a spring going. Something makes it more powerful. Okay. Now, of course, there's different intentions for different things. Right now, I am really working on my intention to help more people in a positive manner and actually get paid. You know, you got to get paid sometimes. Just making YouTube videos doesn't do it. I'm really good with one-on-one calls. It's super fantastic. Everything's flowing very well, but I have to figure out a little bit more of the business side and the get paid side. And, you know, does that leave enough room, time for the videos? And I think it does. I just need to actually make the time, or remember the time, or arrange my schedule. One of the things that's going on is that I sleep in a very weird, random, phasic schedule right now, and it's a little disturbing for any kind of schedule. I wake up at 3 in the morning, between 3 and 3:45, depends on when I go to bed. If I go to bed really early, I may even wake up at 2:30. So, you know, somewhere in that 5-hour, 6-hour range, I'm just going to wake up. But I do need a nap at some point. And how that plays out is highly variable and depends on things. And I might take 2 naps, and it's all very crazy. And it's a little bit hard to run a schedule around. So I'm working on a variable schedule that allows me to do my things, but work within the variability of when I may need to sleep or meditate. Sometimes a deep meditation, sinking in period will actually suffice as a nap, and you actually get the results. Actually, some of the trackers will actually record that you're in REM when you're in meditation, because it happens. It really does happen, so there's that. The point of the video, basically, is that momentum matters, and if you get into a flow, the basic stuff becomes easier and easier and easier. And if you're having a sense of boredom, it's because you're fighting yourself, okay? You know, yes, doing the dishes gets easier and easier and easier, and then you're like, it's boring, but it's not if you're aligned with your intention, okay? Yes, you can have an alignment of intention with doing dishes, just as much as anything else in life. So that's a key thing to think about, keep track of. I'll get this video up, and maybe I'll start getting back to more or less daily videos. It's good for me, it's good for my speaking, it's good for you, and it's good for the universe. Stay sideways.